It reminded me of the time in my life, in my early 20s, when I decided that a girl that I had been talking with for 4 weeks and had seen 2 times has to live with me and my parents under one roof because I liked her and because she had nowhere else to go in the city. Mistakes were made. Hey everyone, and welcome to the long-awaited Sapphic historical recommendations video. If you're following me for quite a while now, you know that I'm a huge fan of FF historical fiction. I read a ton of it, and frankly I can make my whole channel just that, but it's a niche thing, and I'm aware that there are not a lot of people out there that read historical fiction in general. But they are my fave, and nothing can compare to them, so I'm going to make a series of recommendation videos because I cannot wait to push them on you, because that's what I do here. I know that most of you watching this video expect me to pull out 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕂𝕊 by Sarah Waters and say that it's my favorite book, which is slightly untrue. I've made a poll recently asking you which books you associate with me the most, and you had chosen 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕂𝕊. Almost all of you, which I find flabbergasting, because Tipping the Velvet was just there, hanging, and you decided to not choose it. Why? Because Tipping the Velvet is my favorite FF historical fiction book. Anyway, I'm going to subvert all expectations and pull out The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. It is set in 1922 in London and follows a woman named Mrs. Reid and her unmarried daughter Frances. They are trying to keep their lives afloat after their father left them with a lot of debt. They are taking in a young couple into their house as tenants. Their names are Lillian and Leonard, and they expect that their bills would be paid and that this is going to be the best choice of their life. But Frances is a big gay and she falls in love with Lillian, which kickstarts a lot of dramatic events in this house. This is definitely a mystery/thriller type of book that a lot of Sarah Waters books are, to be fair, and it follows the characters mostly in the house, which makes the conflict more pointed and more dramatic faster. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and it reminded me of the time in my life, in my early 20s, when I decided that a girl that I had been talking with for 4 weeks and had seen 2 times has to live with me and my parents under one roof because I liked her and because she had nowhere else to go in the city. Mistakes were made. The new release that I liked very much is 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕂𝕊𝕆𝕂 by Kate Sebastian. Kate Sebastian is a Regency romance author that mostly writes historical fiction and does it very, very well, but she's queer and she was looking to expand to other queer stories, and finally they had given her an opportunity and she had written this little charming novella called 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕁𝕁𝕁𝕁. It follows a girl who was kicked out of her house by her father after one of his friends had tried to assault her and told everyone that she wanted it, I guess. She is taken into a home of a rich lady that took pity on her. They are not lovers. I would like to point that out. She's the type of character in a Regency genre that makes a lot of appearances, a rich aunt that helps everyone or saves the day. She's that type of character. And it also follows another girl that is a servant in this house. She is an ex thief and she's trying to live a normal, decent life. They're roughly the same age, even though they are from two different backgrounds, and they spend a lot of time with each other and fall in love. This is a very short novella that packs a lot of things in. It has great backstory for the characters, it has a good conflict, it has a very appealing romance, and it has romantic tension between the characters, and it also has good sex. So I was pleased with everything, maybe except the length of the novel, because I would have preferred it to be like a full-length stuff. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit by Jeanette Winterson is a tough read for sure, but it's a classic lesbian novel and everyone should be acquainted with it. So it follows a girl that was raised in a very religious family and was brainwashed from childhood basically to believe that she has to be just like her mother. She never questions her role in life and religion that she was brought into until she falls in love with another girl at the church. It's a difficult read at times, but I think it's one of the most realistic endings I've read in quite a while in FF historical fiction. It's not Victorian, it's not Regency, it's set in the 60s, 70s, I believe actually 70s, and you can tell how much Jeanette Winterson had put of herself into this book. I'm not going to tease you any longer. I do recommend 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕂𝕊𝕋 by Sarah Waters. It is not my favorite Sarah Waters. I want to point that out because it's important. My favorite Sarah Waters is Tipping the Velvet. Tipping the Velvet. This is also a story that I love very much. I think it takes the second place. It is set in London in 1862 and follows a young girl named Sue Trinder. She was left by her mother at a baby farm. A baby farm was kind of like a private orphanage. And she was raised by a woman named Mrs. Saxby and her family. Mrs. Saxby's family is a family of thieves, so from a young age Sue Trinder was learning the trade. Once upon a time, a friend of the family, nicknamed the Gentleman, comes to their house and proposes to Sue to participate in a grand scheme. Sue will have to pretend to be a servant of a rich lady and convince her that the gentleman is a great catch and that she should marry him. So in the end, they would be able to take her dowry and to send her to a madhouse. The problem is when she actually meets the lady, she once again changes her mind and she starts warming up to her, which eventually leads to romance. This is to this day the twistiest mystery that I've read. I think it's one of the best constructed books that I've read. It definitely took a lot of time and a lot of research. What I appreciate about Sarah Waters in general is that she does a lot of research about the historical period that she writes in. I think that this book is such a shocker. There are so many things that I have not expected going into it. It is masterfully written and I highly recommend it. Are you happy now? I recommended 𝕊𝕆𝕆𝕂𝕊𝕆𝕁. Let's move on. Of course, the next book that must make an appearance in this video is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is tricky because part of it is set in modern times and part of it is set in the past, in the golden age of Hollywood. And I still think that it counts because the most important storyline happens in the past. So it follows a young biracial woman named 𝕊𝕆𝕁 who had dreamt of working for a certain magazine for a very long time. She starts the job at the magazine and immediately gets an email requesting her presence at the interview with one of the most famous Hollywood actresses named Evelyn Hugo. She's an old classic Hollywood star. She was in many films and she had 7 husbands. When Monique arrives to the woman's house, she realizes that she's not only going to get an interview out of this, she's going to get the woman's whole life. Evelyn Hugo is a fantastic character. She's definitely a Slytherin. She has a lot of life experience. She had a lot of struggles, and she's willing to tell every little thing about herself that she's been keeping close to her heart. And one of those things is that even though she definitely had this 7 husbands, her true love was another actress. Another book that takes place in 2 time periods is Letters Never Sent by Sandra Moran. This one is much angstier than other books that I'm going to recommend in this video. It follows a story of a woman that already died and left her letters to her daughter. She was not a good mother and wife, and her daughter feels a lot of resentment about their relationship, but then she finds her letters and she truly gets to know her mother and what she had experienced as a young girl and why she became the person that her daughter knows. It is definitely a story about lost love and the one that got away, but it has surprising moments that I have not expected. It's not all angst, and there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. It is a tearjerker for sure. It reminds me of Nicholas Sparks, sort of, and if you're into this kind of thing, read it. Another book by Sarah Waters that I love very much is The Night Watch. It follows a bunch of different characters that are telling their stories from 1947 and back to their past. So they all lived through the Second World War and experienced very different things that had led them to their life in 1947. It's a very interesting book because it talks about all kinds of people. And usually when it comes to Second World War books, it's one type of person. It's usually the soldier that goes to the Second World War, with the wife that waits for them at home, which is a bit annoying because all kinds of people experienced it. One of the characters in this book was actually sent to jail because he didn't want to fight. One of them is a butch woman that was serving as the Night Watch. The Night Watch are basically a mix between a watch and a nurse. They were picking up people after bombings in the cities. And another girl was just a girl that had fallen in love with the wrong person. This is a very entertaining book, and I recommend it to people who love to read about regular people's lives and little things that they do, kind of a slice of life-ish type of book. The last book that I'm going to mention in this video is Patience and Sorrow by Isabelle Miller. No, it's not going to be Tip and Velvet because I'm leaving the best for the second video, apparently. It follows 2 women from different backgrounds that fall in love and decide to start a new life. So one of them is a painter that lives in the same house as her brother and his family after their father had left the house for both of them. And she feels incredibly oppressed in this house because her brother and his family expect her to require less just because she's an unmarried woman and pretty much useless in their eyes. This is the reason for a lot of conflicts in this house, and she doesn't expect it to become better because she doesn't want to get married. She's aware of her inclinations, she knows that she likes women, and she finds peace in her art because she also doesn't expect to find a woman. But then she meets Sarah, who's sort of a tomboy. She is from a poor family, and since she was the oldest, she had to take many responsibilities that usually a boy would take. She is very confident and she steals her heart and proposes for them to live together. It's a very uplifting story. It's also very fascinating, especially because it is based on a real-life person. It's this rare gem that I sometimes find in historical fiction, and I cherish them so much. These are all the books that I'm going to recommend in this video. I'm going to make more videos like this, so if you're interested, give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Tell me in the comments down below if any of the books that I mentioned are your favorite, if you've read any of them, and also tell me which time period in historical fiction is your favorite. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another one. But until then,